Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll speak slowly to give Councilor Sweeney a chance to move back to his seat, but it is 6:30. In the next 10 seconds, I will call the Tuesday, November 16th meeting of the Superior Common Council to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilor Ledeen. Here. Councilor Van Sickle. Councilor Bender.
Here.
Councilor Sweeney.
Here.
Councilor Fennessy.
Here.
Councilor Elm.
Here.
Councilor Ludwig.
Here.
Councilor Sutherland.
Here.
Councilor Kern is absent. Councilor Grasky.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Item 3.1 is the approval of the November 2nd regular council meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motions by Councilor Bender, second by Councilor Ludwig. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 4.1 is a presentation by Executive Director Larisha Connors for the Humane Society of Douglas County.
Welcome, Ms. Connors. There's a button on the microphone. We think it looks like a person speaking.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting us to come to this city meeting. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Humane Society. Some you might already know, but we did put together a small slide just to let you know a little bit about us. So our mission here with the Humane Society, the purpose of the Humane Society of Douglas County is the prevention of cruelty to animals, the relief of suffering among animals, and the extension of humane education of for the community. The Society strives to provide humane care and treatment for all animals needing protection in Douglas County. HSDC seeks to return lost animals to their owners, find suitable homes for animals without owners, and offer humane euthanasia when necessary. Some of the things that we offer, we provide a safe place for homeless animals, surrendered animals. We have a spay and neuter program. We have individual treatment plan for physical and mental support, including dentals and senior lab work. We offer microchipping, enrichment, and volunteer program. We have dog licensing and affordable adoptions. Our staff are professional and confidential. They are diligent in finding the correct placement for your beloved pet. We offer the Purple Cat Mobile Veterinary Service. With this service, we offer this only to the Douglas County residents to get their cats free spay and neuter is something that we provide for the community. We try to do this every few months. We do have one coming up December 1st. We'll be posting that on our Facebook page soon for people to sign up for that if they're interested. We also will be advertising that in the paper for those that don't have social media. We are the gold standard said to us by the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture. They hold our Humane Society of Douglas County as a gold standard for all humane societies across the state of Wisconsin. We are proud to serve our community and maintain our reputation throughout the tri-state area as the highest standard of care, quality, and service that we provide. We bring in adopters from all over, from Iowa, North Dakota, Michigan, and if you can even believe it, we have people from Duluth, Minnesota that come over. What's new in our future goals? We're looking forward to putting roofs over our dog runs. That's something that we're hoping to do. We're exploring different areas of community outreach and educational opportunities. We are partnering this year with CASDA, and we have a tiered volunteer training program that we will be having coming up in December. We've also expanded our advertising and our fundraising platforms. And we do this all from you. Without the community support, we would not be able to offer any of these services to the community. Here's an example of an intake report. This is from 2019. This is before COVID. You can see that we took in by area a breakdown of cats, dogs, chickens, horse, goat, guinea pig, and rabbits. So from 2019, from 392 cats to 408 dogs, you can see it took a little bit of a dip in 2020, which is this next slide. Cats were 215 and dogs 217, guinea pigs 4, horses 2, pigs 5, and rabbits 19. So that was good in a sense that we were able to not have as many animals, and animals were kept in their homes. Now that people are returning back to work, we have seen an increase in that, that animals are starting to increase and come back in. This is what you can get when you expect to get an adoption from us. We cover all these things listed here. The spay and neuter, we do microchipping, fecal testing, deworming, distemper, rabies. Your animal will be thoroughly examined, and any vetted care would be taken care of before the animal is released to the public to adopt. We do offer adoption fees that are affordable but competitive with our neighboring area. We also hold bite holds. So if an animal was to bite someone in the public, like for example a child for whatever reason, we need to have that animal examined to make sure that they don't have rabies. So there's nowhere safe to keep that animal. We don't want that animal running on the streets or getting out and having that happen again. So we do house these animals in our facility till they can be seen by a vet and cleared to go back. We do also service hoarding and neglect cases. So in the next couple slides, I'm going to show you some pictures of some things that we have done. We service these hoarding and neglect cases. They come in all different shapes and sizes, all forms of either overbreeding. The guardian might have a mental illness. Some are not financially stable, and that affects the life of the animal. We have been fortunate enough to give most of these animals very suitable homes. We've been able to serve Douglas County with livestock cases as well. This is a service that we're proud to offer and help that is above and beyond our contract. Here, we are happy to serve whatever the needs are of the community. This case was a group of pigs that were actually over by the Four Corners gas station, extremely malnourished. We were able to get them taken care of, and then they gained weight pretty rapidly. This was a team of horses that were on a very long journey, underweight, some were lame. We were able to help this individual with his horses and get them the care that they were able to get back on the road again. This is a case where we had 32 dogs that were in one home. We were able to take all these dogs. We had a fantastic fundraiser that was able to help support all these dogs able to get their vaccinations and vetted so they could be adopted. We do occasionally get visitors from this particular group that come in and say hi every now and then, and it was nice to kind of see them puppies grow up and see what kind of great dog they turned out to be. This is some other animals that we got in. Sometimes these animals don't necessarily have a bite history or something bad where they were in a hoarding situation, but it wasn't a good living situation. An owner might have passed away, and then there's nowhere for that animal to go, so they end up coming to the Humane Society. This one is a hoarding case. This one particularly was 17 rabbits, and they ended up having 13 dogs all at the same place. We were able to take care of some of these animals and make sure that they were able to be placed in some forever homes. This one is a neglected horse on a farm. This one also came with some other farm animals as well. You can see this one is severely malnourished. This is the other piece of the farm. Goat, chickens, and rabbits. We were able to help all of them. And this is what it looks like when you have an overpopulated area with cats and the diseases and illnesses that can run through it. Some of these are very contagious and can be easily spread even to your domestic cat, sniffing through a screen door, let's say, if they're coming in your area. There were 60 cats in this case. We were able to vet and take care of these cats as well. This horse was found in a trailer driving around Superior with another animal in the trailer that was actually deceased, and that animal had no food. So it was picking through whatever pieces of kibble and the manure it was able to get. So we were able to get this horse care as well. So these are not cases that we like to talk about, but this is the reality of what we do deal with regularly. And we do want the public to know, that we do whatever we can to help these animals in these situations. So because of you and helping us get where we are today, we do appreciate everything you've done for us. We host these annual fundraisers every year. We have the Lake Superior Ice Festival, Canine King and Queen Contest. That's going to be coming up fairly quickly. We have the Paws for Love Gala and Auction, the No Bake Bake Sale, Cause for the Paws 5K. We have a holiday fundraiser, Santa Paws, and then we have some other things that we do also to raise money, such as candy bar sales. We have a Sloppy Joe feed, Cozy Comfy sheet sale, hoarding case fundraisers, specific fundraisers for our van. When we had our Cadillac converter stolen, we were able to fundraise for that. Membership drives, we do large animal fundraisers. We try to do what we can, and we appreciate all you do for us as well. So we want to thank you for inviting us, and we want you to know that we appreciate your support here in the community, and we won't be able to do this without you. Thank you.
Thank you. Were there questions or comments? Councillor Van Sickle.
Thank you. Thank you, Larisha. You probably don't remember this, but our kids used to go to school together, so please tell Indira Haven said hi. But I just wanted to thank you for coming in today on behalf of President Elm and myself. You guys would probably also recognize Larisha from the Great Northern Classic Rodeo. This has been a long effort from the leadership to make sure that organizations are engaged and we're getting educated and we can learn more what you do and how we can support that mission. So thanks for coming.
Any further comments? Thank you again for coming.
Item 4.2 is a public hearing for a resolution introduced by the Community Development Division recommending approval of the CDBG second year action plan as described in the 2022 action plan budget, authorizing staff to submit plans to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
If there's no objection, I will open the public hearing. Would anybody like to speak in the public hearing? Would anybody like to speak in the public hearing? Again, this is the public hearing for the CDBG second year action plan. Would anybody like to speak to the resolution? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing and approve the resolution.
So moved.
Motion is by Councillor Bender, second by Councillor Elm. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 6.1 is a report from Mayor Payne.
Thank you, councillors. I don't have a lot to report. A lot of my work has been with a few of the committee chairs, so I'll leave it to their reports. But the most significant thing in the mayor's office is, fortunately, we lost Chief of Staff Nick Raverty. He had moved back home to the Twin Cities. Always knew I'd lose him someday, but it didn't take the sting out of it. He was pretty popular, I think, among a lot of the staff, so he'll be missed. But we do expect to replace him fairly quickly. We'll be doing interviews for Chief of Staff this week. The other thing I would bring up, we are going to do an abbreviated Superior Days up here. The reason we've been waiting on that is we got word a few weeks ago that the governor might be able to come and address some of the Superior Days issues. So he will be coming on Thursday. It's very last minute. It's just how that scheduling office works, and they limited our attendance. So we largely limited it to people that said they planned to travel to Madison when we were going to go to Madison in the fall. Those invitations went out today, but that list will probably get changed over the next 24 to 48 hours. So if somebody's very interested in coming to that, let me know. We can probably get you in. That's about all I have to report.
Item 6.2 are committee appointment recommendations. The first 6 are being reappointed to the Golf Course Committee for a 1-year term expiring in 2022.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion is by Councillor Bender, second by Councillor Ledeen. You all see the names there. They are the same appointments as before. Is there discussion on the golf course appointments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
The mayor is also recommending the appointment of Akasha Nikoi to a 3-year term to the Superior Public Library Board expiring 2024.
Motion approved.
The motion is by Councillor Bender, second by Councillor Ludwig. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 6.3, Mayor Payne is recommending the adoption of an ordinance amending City Code Chapter 2, Administration Article 2, Common Council, Section 2-32, call to order to allow for special committee boards and commission members to participate and vote to the fullest extent possible while attending meetings via audio and/or video conferencing.
Motions by Councilor Elm, second by Councilor Ludwig. Just a brief explanation, councilors. About a year ago, as we were leaving the state of emergency, we amended this chapter of the Code of Ordinances to clarify what counted as a quorum and how our meetings would operate. But we've had a lot of problems, especially with the boards and commissions that are primarily staffed by citizens. A number of them have struggled to make quorum for a number of reasons that we really have to accommodate. Some of them are actual disability-related reasons where they can't come in, and for many others, it's just the most convenient way for them to get here, and work or family or anything else keeps them from joining. And so in order to make sure that we can have high-quality citizens that want to serve on these boards and to make sure we actually get the business done, we looked at changing it to relax the quorum requirement just for the boards and commissions. So again, this will not apply to the city council or the city council's 6 standing committees. Those will still require an in-person attendance, but all the rest will allow the quorum to be constructed regardless of how you attend. So if you're attending virtually, as long as you can hear and be heard, you will be considered present. What's not listed in the ordinance, but a practice that we're going to try and pursue is because we have to provide reasonable access to the public, we will always have a physical meeting space that people can physically attend. And we're going to ask that the chair of the committee always be physically present. So even if the chair can't attend, we're going to ask the chair have somebody fill in for them and chair the meeting from that room. So I think we talked most of this through, and this should be ready to go. And it's not especially urgent, except that we do have some committees that have been struggling for quorum that are meeting even this week. So that's my reason for putting it directly to the council and asking you to pass it tonight. Can I answer questions or entertain discussion? Councilor Fennessy.
If this was, we amended this a year ago, what have we invested in our technology at all?
Yes.
In the last year?
So I don't know that we've bought significant new, I don't see Dan here, he might be on the phone, but I don't know that we've bought significant new technology, but there's been a lot of investments around the building where you have the large screen TVs in almost every room, and we just worked out with the county to expand that to 270 across the hall as well. So almost any one of our meeting spaces can accommodate a pretty high quality virtual meeting at this point, and even one that doesn't, we could wheel in technology to do it.
So most of the meetings will meet in 202. Have we made any upgrades there?
Not that I've noticed, but I can't speak to it. Is Dan Shea on the phone?
And I guess the only reason I ask is because fundamentally I like this. I don't have any issue with that. I think we as a body are ready to kind of move into that direction. I think that's where our constituencies they expect that. It's normal now. I think we're there as a society, but what's not there is our technology. We have a $30 million operating budget, and we're still using Google Meets because it's free. We're trying to pick up the entire room on a hand-me-down laptop for those that are virtually. That there's a little microphone in a little laptop that's supposed to pick up somebody from across the room. And then on the flip side, the speaker is a small little speaker inside a small little laptop that's supposed to be heard from everybody throughout the room. If we're going to start expanding this ordinance, we need to get our technology in place first. This just last week, Councilor Sutherland tried to log on through Google Meets to our License and Fees Committee. We could see him. We couldn't hear him. He could hear us. And now, 5 days later, after that, we're looking at expanding this ordinance. I like the expansion a lot, but without technology upgrades, it's going to be we might as well not even have the virtual option when we have feedback issues, when we have the hard time hearing the person on the other line, when they have a hard time hearing the people here. we need to make some significant improvements if this is the direction that we're going and this is what we're saying, to the point where we're looking to change the ordinance. There's technology where we can put microphones in the ceiling so that somebody virtually can hear us a lot better. We can put speakers in the ceiling so we can hear them better. We can put it's called an owl camera, where it goes on the middle of the desk, and whoever's speaking, the camera, it rotates to that person. We amended this a year ago, and we haven't made a single upgrade in the most commonly used room for these meetings, and now we're looking at expanding this ordinance. I like it a lot. I think that's where we need to go, but without having the technology to support the way of the future, if you will, it's not going to accomplish what we want. So I'd like to make a motion to send this to the IT committee to have them look at some recommendations to make our meetings flow better and make them more efficient.
The motion is to refer to the CIT committee. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
This motion is by Councilor Fennessy, second by Councilor Sweeney. Discussion on the motion to refer. Councilor Sweeney.
Who owns this equipment and the building?
We own much of the equipment we use, but the building, of course, is owned and operated by the county. So improvements to the space largely have to be led by the county. Purchases of equipment are handled by the city. And we have a very flush IT budget, so generally staff, committee chairs, electeds can generally ask for any existing technology that they need.
So the county would not be a barrier in this endeavor?
They never have been.
Okay. Oh, I'm not suggesting they were. I'm just moving forward. Thank you.
Further discussion on the motion for Councilor Elm.
Yeah, I agree with Councilor Fennessy. I guess, in my opinion, these are two different things going on here. One is operations, and one is how to improve the technology. So I agree both should be done, but I think the ordinance should be passed tonight, but then also put on the agenda at CIT to discuss how to improve things, such as OWL. Completely agree with that. There are better ways to do things, but they cost money, So I guess I see these as two different things.
Councilor Ludwig.
Yeah, I agree with Councilor Elm. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is I don't see how amending our meeting ordinance applies to IT. I do think that we need to update equipment, but I don't think that we should, I guess, postpone our decision on this amendment based on updating equipment.
Further discussion on the motion to refer. Councilor Van Sickle.
Thank you, Chair. I struggle to see how referral moves us forward, particularly when the CIT committee has so many citizen representatives. I would ask the council to pass this extension tonight so that we can make those recommendations moving forward. And Google Meets, we're a government organization charged with making fiscally responsible decisions. So however the council has funded technology is how it's funded technology. So referral is a good way to make sure that we don't make progress on this. So I would ask the council to pass this tonight. Thank you.
Councilor Fennessy.
Think of what we just said. We had 3 of the councilors admit that our technology isn't up to par, but we still need to expand the ordinance to allow for more of using the technology that's not up to par. Why would we want to expand using the technology we have when we just 3 of us admitted that it's not good enough, that it needs improvement? Why don't we fix what's broken first before expanding an ordinance to use more of the broken system? That's what I'm saying. So to say that they're unrelated, they're very related, because we're looking to expand an ordinance using outdated technology that's not going to make for an efficient meeting, that's not going to make for a productive meeting, that's not going to make for a meeting where a counselor calls in and we can't hear him. So we need to fix our technology before we start going down the road of expanding using that technology that 3 of you guys just agreed that needs to be fixed.
Further, Councilor Sweeney.
It would seem to me we can travel two roads, but they are related because just think of the public if they can't hear and they can't, not that they would, just to be a viewer or a participant or a listener, I don't know how many get blocked off or can't get in, but it is related because I think more people would, whether they be city council members or members of any committee or whatever, if they get frustrated trying to log in, many of them maybe continue. Others would just say, let's forget it, I'm not going to do that. So they are related but separate. It sounds like an oxymoron. I'm trying it not to be.
Councilor Ludwig.
I can give you a good example of why we should pass this. I chaired the meeting for the Urban Forestry Tree Board recently, where we had an RFP that we that was on the agenda for action. And one of our members actually is deployed right now, and so he was able to, from Fort McCoy, was able to call in virtually. We had another member who had an accident and broke her foot. She was able to call in virtually, and we can hear both of them just fine. There were 3 of us, so 5 of the 6 members were there either virtually or physically. But of course, because of the ordinance currently that says that the quorum has to be physically, we were unable to conduct business that day. And so we had to reschedule the meeting. And so the next meeting, there were 4 of the 5 members, but the 4 were physically. So actually, the action that we voted on, there were less of the board present when we actually took action. And, so, this is very frustrating because, number one, it creates inefficiencies for our staff who have to waste time and effort rescheduling meetings. It's inefficient for our citizen members, who volunteer their time. One deployed member from Fort McCoy volunteered his time. And they end up even giving more volunteer time than to a rescheduled meeting after they've, come to a meeting where there isn't a quorum. And it creates inefficiencies, streamlining and forwarding our committee work onto the council in a timely manner. So this past year, dealing with the COVID pandemic, it's made us realize that we can hold successful meetings virtually, or through the hybrid meeting models. And yes, there are problems sometimes, but for the most part, we can hold these meetings successfully. So I don't see any reason why we have to postpone this decision. Thank you.
The question is on the motion to refer. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Grasky.
I just have a question. What are you said 6 committees or commissions that need to be present. Can you just clarify that for me, just because I don't quite know?
Those are the council standing committees, license and fees, public safety. Yeah, they're on the agenda, actually.
Item.
So Human Resources, Public Works Committee, Finance Committee, License and Fees, Public Safety, and Committee of the Whole. Committee of the Whole is just the council, but the rest, I believe, all feature 3 counselors and 1 alternate. So the quorum for all of those is 2 people in the room. That's what this would require. Okay, the question is on the motion to refer. All those in favor of referring to the CIT committee, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
No.
The motion fails. The main motion is to adopt the ordinance. Is there any further discussion on the ordinance? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, Councilor Sutherland?
No, I was just going to say, so at the end, would the chair of the IT, would you mind having that talk on the next committee for the OWL?
Okay, I'm going to retake the vote. All those in favor of adopting the ordinance, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 7.2 is the business of the Public Works Committee from a meeting held November 4th. Is there a report from the chair?
Thank you, Clerk. So as you read in the minutes, we had an important discussion about the increased traffic enforcement on 58th. We have a new stop sign there, so just keeping an eye on speeding and passing out in this area. And Lieutenant Trone gave a detailed report on defining what traffic enforcement and increase in traffic enforcement looks like. So we've invited Chief Alexander to give us a presentation here in Chambers on the new software that they're using, SmartForce. So that will be coming up very soon. You'll also see a couple of contracts that were approved. One is the tire recycling service that is available to residents. There is a small fee, but just making sure that people know you can bring your tires to the landfill, and then WLSSD comes and get those so they don't end up in the forest or boat landings or the places that they show up. So it has snowed now. So just a reminder to folks that we have a very specific and dedicated route that Parks and Public Works put together. So when the Prynoth machines are out, a lot of those residents have already gotten a notice in the mail that they are on the route and what those responsibilities look like. But it is very, very important that we don't put in any requests to move the route by a street or a block or anything like that. It's really important that we let Public Works and Parks work out the kinks and see how that works over the winter. It looks like the railroad has given their final blessing for the light on Tower 105 and signed off on what looks to be like their final inspection. So Councilor Ledeen will be working with Bryant School on the safe routes if those need to be adjusted, and I think we'll also be out there for a ribbon cutting. We also approved the landfill budget, and hopefully you'll see us start to allocate some amount of money to composting. And finally, you should be noticing that alley excavation should be going on for another 2 weeks or so, and that will be wrapped up for the year. If there aren't any questions, I would ask the council to, let me see here, to approve the recommendations 1 through 4.
The motion is to approve all of the recommendations of the Public Works Committee by Councilor Van Sickle. Is there a second? Second. The second is by Councilor Ledeen. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. So, Councilor Fennessy, is the noise bothering you? You can shut the door. Okay.
No, it's not.
Item 7.4 is the business of the Licensing and Fees Committee from a meeting held November 8th. Is there a report from the chair?
Thank you. This meeting, we approved the licensing of Jamrock Culture's outdoor liquor license, and we addressed some of the fees pricing, and some of the items were postponed until December. That's all I got. Thank you.
I want to note also that the Finance Committee meeting from last week was rescheduled to, I believe, 4:30 on Thursday. Is that correct, Mr. Chairman? Okay. Thank you. Unless there were questions for Chair Sutherland, can move on to special committees.
Item 8.1 is the business of the Parks and Rec Commission from a meeting held October 28th. Is there a report from the chair?
Chair's not here. Councilor Ledeen, I think you're the other councilors. Or anything to add?
I mean, outside of the approval for the rates for cross-country skiing out in Superior Municipal Forest, that it was the main business of that meeting. And I will make that motion to approve.
The motion is by Councilor Ledeen and the second is by Councilor Bender to approve the recommendation to adjust the cross-country ski rates. Is there discussion? Councilor Ludwig.
I just have a question. Do we have a family rate? I always try and put myself in the place of families. And when my children were little, that's one of the things that were young. That's one of the things that we did as a family is cross-country skied. And so I was wondering, you know, with a family of 5, if we have a $30 resident rate, that's a little pricey for a family with young children. So do we have a family rate?
Not a family rate, there's a $5 individual day fee that we do have, but no, there is no family rate.
So, I get, okay, so, you know, even that $5 a day fee per individual, is that correct? Okay.
Director Kadat has clarified that children actually ski free in our municipal forest.
Oh, okay. Okay. Up through what age, Director Kadat?
You know, it's not strictly enforced, but school kids, so anyone in high school or under.
Said it's not strictly enforced, but school age and younger.
Okay. All right, thank you. So.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the new rate signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 8.2 is the business of the Communications and Information Technology Committee from a meeting held November 1st. Is there a report from the chair?
Yes. So this month's November CIT meeting included some tech updates from the IT department as well as the Connect Superior RFP. Jane, our contract analyst, and committee members had completed and approved a fantastic document. This is currently out for bid, and the city will be answering questions as time progresses. Along the way, the city will be compiling a frequently asked questions document as well. Due to the type of project, it will be publicized on a few different dates, and the city will require the sealed proposals by December 21st, early afternoon. The recommendations will come to the council in early 2022, and that is what I know.
Is there questions for the chair? Councillor Ludwig, your light is on. Did you have a question?
No.
Are there other questions for the chair? None. We can. Tourism Development Commission is the chair of a report for Tourism Development Commission.
Yes, I'm happy to report we have approved a 3-year marketing RFP to be released. We've been meeting a lot, and I just wanted to, looking back and coming to this decision, I think created a breakthrough in direction while also showing how important time and effort is to this newer commission. Some may not know, we've been meeting 7 weeks in a row, and I think with this work, it helped rake through the outlook of this commission along with the future. I also want to extend a thank you to the hard work of the 6-person commission, along with numerous city staff and the public who have been present at these meetings with your listening comments and insight.
Questions for the chair? Move on. Urban Forestry.
Item 8.4 is the business of the Urban Forestry Tree Board meeting held November 5th.
Chair Ludwig.
Actually, I would like to go back to our October 19th meeting, the meeting that we didn't have a quorum. We did have a great presentation, though, from our Parks and Rec Forestry Superintendent, Russ Bailings. He gave us a demonstration on our newly acquired Davy Tree Keeper software. The software will greatly improve efficiencies in tracking the urban forestry canopy. It'll help our Parks and Rec crew in keeping track of what species are planted where throughout the city. To prevent overplanting of one certain species, it will help in tracking maintenance when certain trees are planted, the survival rates of newly planted trees, the watering needs and schedule, their pruning needs, and of course eventual end of life and replanting. For anyone who is interested in looking at the software, you can find it at, there is a website, superiorwi.treekeepersoftware.com. And then at our November 5th meeting, we discussed interviews for our 3 consultants who submitted RFPs for the Superior Municipal Forest Master Plan. Based on those interviews and the RFPs submitted, the Urban Forestry Tree Board voted to recommend Rettler Corporation as a Superior Municipal Forest Master Plan consultant. I will be asking for approval from the council. We also, Director Cadet reported that our tribute tree brochures, which I presented a copy a couple of meetings ago, have been distributed to significant places throughout the community to remind residents that they can select to plant a living memorial to a special person or event. We are currently working with Cricket Signs to design a tribute plaque to be placed at the base of each tribute tree planted. Plaques will now be included in the price of the tribute tree and instead of an add-on as was done previously. Applications for the tribute tree can be found on the city's website. Let's see. She also reported that our holiday tree lighting ceremony will take place on November 26th at 5:30 p.m. And the tree board also set meeting dates for our board in the 2022 calendar year. That is all that I have to report. I do ask for approval for the recommendation to hire Rattler Corporation as the Superior Municipal Forest Master Plan consultant.
The motion was actually by Councilor Ludwig, second by Councilor Sutherland, to approve the consultant to create the master plan. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 8.5 is the business of the Mayor's Commission on Communities of Color, meeting held November 8th. Is there a report?
No, Councilor Van Sickle.
I'm not the chair, but I will just say that the commission approved a $350 reimbursement, and we did schedule an event to raise awareness and talk about Native American Heritage Month, which is November. And we did, in haste, set a day and time. And so that has been moved to Saturday the 27th at the Bong Museum between 2 and 3, again, to support the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women billboard that has come to Superior. Thank you.
Item 10.1 is I am recommending approval of miscellaneous licenses.
Second.
Motion is by Councilor Sutherland, second by Councilor Bender. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 10.2, Public Works Director Janigo is recommending approval of a 20-year airport land lease agreement for hangar site A9 at the Richard I. Bong Memorial Airport with Chad Robarge.
Motion approved.
Motion is by Councilor Elm, second by Councilor Bender. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 10.3, Finance Director Putz is recommending approval of a resolution appropriating necessary funds for the operation of the general city government and the administration of the City of Superior, Wisconsin for the year 2022, and authorizing and directing a tax levy to be spread on the tax roll of the City of Superior, Wisconsin for the year 2021.
Second.
Motion is by Councilor Sutherland, second by Councilor Bender. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 10.4, Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Director Kadot is recommending waiving the bidding requirements and awarding the 2022 Ice Festival fireworks agreement to Spielbauer Fireworks Company for a total amount of $40,000.
Motion is by Councilor Sutherland, second by Councilor Elm. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 10.5 is an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Department amending City Code Chapter 112, Traffic Code, Article 3, Parking, Schedule J, Accessible Parking Zones, to add both a do not block sidewalk sign and an accessible parking sign at 1019 Baxter Avenue.
Motion approved.
Motion is by Councilor Bender, second by Councilor Grasky. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 10.6, Public Works Director Janigo is recommending approval of an ordinance amending City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 114, Section 114-166, relating to public water utilities and owner responsibility.
Motion approved.
Motion is by Counselor Bender, second by Counselor Elm. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 10.7, Housing Coordinator and Planner Screenis is recommending approval of the sale of 1101 Catlin Avenue to Deco Property Management for the price of $20,000.
Motion is by Counselor Elm, second by Counselor Fennessy. Is there discussion? Hearing, Counselor Van Sickle.
I think Director Skrenis is here. If he would just, did you want to speak on the issue? No? Okay. I just know we've missed two before, so just want to make.
Unless there are questions for Director Screenis or further discussion, then all those in favor of approving the sale, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Seems like folks came for this. Thanks for waiting.
Item 10.8, I am recommending approval of an original Class B liquor and Class B beer alcohol license for Superior Hotel Group, LLC, doing business as Wasoda Chop House, located at 1102 Tower Avenue, for a license period beginning November 1st and running through June 30th, 2022.
The motion is by Counselor Elm, second by Counselor Grasky. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
Item 10.9, Finance Director Putz is recommending approval of an application for sewage billing adjustment to Mr. Sawyer for $4,850.44.
Motion approved.
Motion is by Counselor Bender, second by Counselor Elm. Counselors, very briefly, Director Putz could explain this better than me, but this is a timely application that would typically require the approval of the Finance Committee. Because we missed the meeting this week and we have the tax roll deadline coming up also this week, it's important that we approve this relatively quickly. She assures me, and I'm sure would assure you, that this is a very standard approval, and we have a long history of approving these. And if it were below the financial threshold, it would have been approved more or less automatically. So unless there are questions for me or Director Putz. If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
I'm submitting the resignation of 8th Aldermanic District Councilor Craig Sutherland with options regarding the vacancy in conjunction with Frog Pro.
So what we'll do here, Council, I'm going to invite Councilor Sutherland to address the Council first, and then we will discuss options and procedure going forward. Councilor Sutherland.
Thank you, Mayor. Kind of a bizarre here. We've got the situation, but we got to do what's best. I've had the privilege to represent the 8th District the last 5 years. I've successfully won 3 elections, which is one of my biggest accomplishments in my life. Not the biggest, but one of the biggest. There is so much that I'm proud of. We've all helped make that possible, whether we agreed or not. We are one council here. Our council has accomplished a lot, and that's an understatement, and I can say that I'm honored to be part of that. And if some people are reading this, I'm just reading my Facebook post, so this is how I do my notes. But as we get older, our direction changes, and we have to adapt. My passion for my career has me looking at the bigger picture, and I need to follow that. My daughter over there, you can see sitting over there, Grace, I've been serving in this spot for half her life, so that speaks volumes of how long, what I got to do with my family. My daughter's 9 years old. I've been here for half her life. That's a good thing, but at some point it's not going to be fair. I got to take that into consideration. I have decided that I need to focus on what's best for myself. Therefore, I will be resigning on the end of this month, November 30th of 2021, from my position on the council. The City Council will continue to do what's best to keep the city moving forward. I'd personally like to thank everyone who has helped supported me, who has reached out to me in the last couple of days. The one term that throws me off is retired. I'm 36. I'm not retired from anything. I'm just stepping down aside from City Council from now. I've had the honor to working with all the department heads here that are sitting here, that are not here. Attorney Perel, Police Chief Alexander, hopefully he's on the phone, Fire Chief Gordon, Director Ramos, everyone. Potts, all of us here. I don't want to go through it. I'm going to say directors as a whole. That umbrella is everyone, so I can't miss out on it. I appreciate that. Appreciate every single councilor sitting here. Everyone who has supported me and who hasn't supported me, and gave me some fuel for my fire too. So I encourage anyone to step up and run for city council. It's a fun passion. It's interesting. kind of understanding how the organization works from this view is unique compared to living at 1918 Pennsylvania Avenue and wondering why the plows ain't coming down my street at 3 in the morning. I get that. I understand how it works, most of it. I'm still questioning some things, but that's just fine. That being said, I'm going to, if I could, Mayor, ask my opinion on how to move forward on my position. I clearly read a state statute that was old on my part. I was under the assumption that if I resigned by the end of November, that by statute it would be filled in the coming April election. There would be a special election, but I realized, correct me if I'm wrong, that has changed in the last couple of years, that statute. And maybe that's the case. If it's not the case, maybe I just read it wrong. But I'm asking this council, if whatever they do until you decide what to do, I ask that we hold a special election come April and give the 8th District a voice in the next elections. There's been some questions on what it would cost. I'm not sure on the true cost of it, as I know that odd districts are holding elections coming up at the polling stations there for the Alderamic odd districts. The odd districts, so it would be the 9th, 7th. I'm asking that we do a special election for the 8th District come April. I'd wish I could get the council support on that. 97% of the time we agree up here. I hope we can get 100% on this one. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for everything you've done.
Thank you, Counselor. And we will invite you back to the next meeting as well. There was some ceremony and tradition that we have to respect at that point. So for now, we have some business to take care of, and I'll invite the attorney or the clerk to answer any questions you have about procedure. I think they assembled a very good memo that outlines your options. You have some wiggle room around those with dates, but most of that's pretty weird stuff that I don't think any of you are likely to entertain. There's a lengthy explanation of if you pursue an appointment route, how that would work, and that's lifted from just our most recent history. And I want to compliment the clerk on digging up the history of our resignations, which don't actually happen that often. In at least the last 20 years I'm aware of, we have Councilor Sutherland becomes our third councilor, and we've had 2 mayors. So typically, I think Shelley Nelson described it well in her article, where the vacancy has been longer than a year, it has always been filled by a special election. Shorter vacancies have often been filled by appointment, and sometimes, as in the case of Councilor Elm, or most recent, it was both. And so there's not precedent, but there is a little bit of history. Now, as far as how we'll go about doing this could get complex and messy. I'm asking for your indulgence that I don't think we need to go into an effective committee of the whole or anything, but there's obviously going to be plenty of discussion. We can handle the procedural part of how we do that if we have a lot of discussion or debate or contention or diverse routes we want to take. There's plenty of ways to handle that, but for now, I'm just going to throw it open to open discussion. It is your right to make motions at any time, whenever you're ready to do that. If you have questions, discussion, now is the time. Councilor Sweeney.
Thank you. Silence is deafening here. But never being afraid to speak. So, assume we don't have any questions. What's the procedure?
So in the memo, Clerk Ramos laid out 4 major options, all of which are very viable, and you could simply propose one of those 4. Okay. We could move forward and take a vote on one of those 4. Councilor Sutherland himself could move his own suggestion. That would require a second, and we could just vote on it. Now, if there are rival suggestions, that's where this gets a little funny, but it can happen. We can essentially pursue a simplified form of filling a blank, which is when Robert's rules, it describes when you have multiple answers to one question and the council's willing to entertain it. You have to be willing to entertain multiple options. There's a way of doing that. And so I'll take us down that road if we need to. You've never done it. I've never done it, but we'll figure it out just fine. So that's why I want to go to open discussion. If you have a motion to make, feel free to make it. Otherwise, you are free to debate the options as well before making a motion. Or, because other motions in this case would be in order after a main motion is made, you can continue to debate all your options even after motions are made. We're going to be pretty open here unless and until somebody objects. So, Councillor Sutherland.
So can I make a motion? Make a motion to go to a special election, April 2022.
Councillor Sutherland's motion is to set a special election to fill the vacancy in the 8th District Council seat at the time of the regular council election on April 17th, 2023. Is there a second to that? Second is by Councillor Fennessy. Discussion on this motion or the process in general?
The motion and second is for option number 4, is that correct?
I'm trying to find the option, so I'm trying to find the page.
Oh.
Well, no. He didn't say number 4, so he's just setting a special election. You can decide that with this motion or separately. So you can choose how to fill the vacancy from November 30th until April 17th right now, or we can answer the question of a special election and then take up the subject
Or I
of the
could
vacancy.
make an amendment to turn it into
may.
number 3. And
You
I
may.
guess I would make that motion to amend that and choose it as number 3 to fill the vacancy by appointment and order a special election by April 5th, 2022.
Okay, Councillor Elm's motion is to amend to add fill the vacancy by appointment, and then the rest of the motion to set the special election. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
The second was by Councillor Sutherland. Okay, so discussion on the amendment. The amendment is to add, and we're going to keep discussion open here, but the amendment, again, is really to create option number 3 in the memo, which reads fill the vacancy by appointment and order a special election. For April 5th, 2022. I said the 2013 day before. Okay, discussion. Councillor Sutherland was seconded that motion.
I read that wrong. I did that wrong. I want to retract my motion on that, my second on that. I apologize. I want to retract my motion on that one.
Okay, then I'm going to go backwards. I heard multiple seconds. Was there a second to Councillor Elm's motion? Was there? The second is by Councillor Van Sickle. Okay. Discussion. Councillor Fennessy.
So with that, the term special election, it's not, I know that's the technical term, but it's really not a much extra. There's already an election happening. There's already, the polling location's going to be staffed. The polls are already going to be open. The only difference would be come April is there would be a special election for just this district. It's not like we would have this enormous extra cost, right?
That's correct. And 2, depending on how many candidates you have, if you have more than 3, there's a primary, even if there isn't one for the other elections that are scheduled.
Right. So the motion on the table right now is for an appointment where we would appoint somebody and then continue with the special election. What does that process look like? I'm assuming we would open up for applications and.
Well, we would have to decide that. I think the attorney wrote a pretty good process, and it's the process we more or less used a few years ago. We threw a couple of hitches in that one, but in terms of how you select, it's described in the memo. So you could simply adopt that. What I would do, if the council adopts this process, this proposal, the number 3, then we'll take on another question to set the process. So if you decide to fill by appointment, you decide the process by which you fill it. So just as, for an example, we were pretty close to this 5 years ago when Councillor Elm was appointed, but rather than simply accept applications, we required those applicants to get 20 signatures from the district. So you could mess with it, is what I'm saying. So we would set that afterwards.
And you'd also want to set a deadline so that we'd get applications in-house before the next council meeting agenda is set.
What I'm saying, the whole procedure, if you adopt this motion, then we will be required to set a procedure. So it would be a whole separate question. So right now, there technically isn't anything to appoint yet because we haven't answered that, whether or not we will appoint.
Right. Okay, so, and we would do that at the next council meeting?
Oh, no, you could do that tonight.
Okay. So then, I'm just thinking, April's just a couple months away. If we appoint somebody, it's not like we would appoint them tonight. There would be a process. No. What's the January, mid-January that we would? February?
That's up to the council. The council will set that process.
Because then if it is January, so we would appoint somebody in January just to have a primary in March if there is one, or February, and then the actual election is in April. Why wouldn't we just let this ride out the last couple months? We're only a couple months away from the election. Why go through the whole process instead of allowing the citizens of the 8th district to choose? The motion on the table has us 10 counselors choosing for the residents of the 8th district instead of waiting a couple short months.
Counselor Sutherland.
I do see where you're coming from, Councilor Fennessy, I do. But at the same time, I retracted my motion because I didn't want to be the one to make, it felt like I was biased on it. But I really do think me putting my constituents in this situation, I don't want them to have not to have a voice for the next 5 months. And I think that's completely fair. We have appointed, in case in point, Councilor Elm before, but that was a little bit longer of a duration. I get that too. I guess whatever this council decides, I don't want to get in the middle of it. Whatever you all decide, I'm putting you in this pickle, and I can't get you out of it. And I don't know how to say that without saying it. But I personally wouldn't want, if I could at least say anything, I wouldn't want the residents of the 8th district to have an issue come mid-January or mid-December and not know who to or end of December and not know who to contact. When they could I know they could reach out to anyone personally, but again, whatever this council decides, I'm okay with. So,
Councilor Bender.
Yes, I would agree. I think it's a good idea. They need to have representation, appointed representation, until the time of the special election. So I think that we need to do that, and whoever would apply for it, could be considered.
I should point out that going back to 1997, in the 10 times that this has happened, 8 of those times there was a candidate appointed until an election was held, regardless of whether it was scheduled or not. And then one time there was a vacancy in November, and that one was left vacant just once.
I was going to invoke the case of Mayor Ross, who left in January before his term expired in April, but that was effectively filled by an acting mayor. Further discussion. The motion is still to amend, to add Councilor Elm's requirement that we will appoint for the duration until April. I'm sorry. Further discussion on this amendment? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the amendment to fill the vacancy by appointment until April, please signify.
Could we have a roll call?
Yes. So we're clear again. We are adding. The main motion is to set a special election. The amendment we're voting on right now is to agree to fill the vacancy by appointment until that election has occurred this April. So it will be an appointment for 5 months, at most 5 months. Okay, we will proceed by roll call.
Councilor Bender.
This is the amendment to fill. This is the question of whether or not to appoint until April.
I vote in favor. Aye.
Okay. Okay. Councilor Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilor Fennessy.
Aye.
Councilor Elm.
Aye.
Councilor Ludwig.
Aye.
Councilor Sutherland.
Aye.
Councilor Kern is absent. Councilor Grasky. Councilor Ledeen.
Aye.
Councilor Van Sickle.
Okay, that motion carries. We now have a main motion, which is effectively option number 3 in the memo, fill the vacancy by appointment and order a special election on April 5th, 2022. Discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries. Okay, councilors, we have to set terms. We don't have to. You can postpone this decision. I'm not going to make a suggestion, except that, again, the clerk and the attorney, I think the attorney wrote this, in the memo, there is a process described for filling for appointing the counselor for the 8th District. I assume you've read that, but it just came out yesterday. I think we would have to set deadlines as well. I'm sorry, it looks like the deadline would be the December 7th council meeting according to this. So questions or discussion on procedure, or we would need a motion to some effect.
December 7th is the council meeting, but we have to have it a day before at least, right? Or it
By
can actually
December
be...
1st, that's when I'll be setting the agenda for that meeting.
Okay, so we have a deadline of December 1st that officially we need to set, Mayor, is that correct? Or can you-
Otherwise, it would be December 15th for the December 21st meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we typically, she's right, we ask everybody to set the agenda by
Wednesday.
this deadline. You can set it whenever you want, but I'm inclined to agree with the clerk. It would get pretty stressful to be accepting applications the day of the meeting.
Thank you.
We actually, Councilor Fennessy.
So would this process be accepting applications or nominations?
We can do either. So I'm reading, well, this doesn't entertain applications. This just says nominations. So you could just do straight nominations, and whatever names you throw out there, it just, I would think you would put out a call for applications.
Right. I struggle with the nominations only.
You would still have to nominate from among the applications. Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. Yep.
Right. I mean, I don't want to. I would like somebody, from the public to be able to have the ability, just like we all did during a regular election, to come forward and say, this is something that I want, instead of just the 10 of us deciding for who wants it and who doesn't. Does that make sense?
Ideally, the applicant's letters of interest would be in the next packet for you to review before, and then choose from those to make a nomination.
Yeah, that's the argument that he's making, that we should have applicants be by a deadline from which the council will nominate. That's what you're arguing?
Right. Yeah. So that we've got plenty of time for them to. I guess, do we have the application form, or is that something we need to create?
We have applications for employment. The clerk just implied they could be nothing more than letters of intent, resumes. You can describe that too. You can also leave it to the administration to set that. A job application that we use in the city of Superior be pretty revealing. You'd learn a lot about them, but it's pretty comprehensive.
Probably more than we would need to.
I think so.
And so what ideally could happen is we could open this up tomorrow to start receiving applications. And then on the 7th, is that the date that we're targeting?
That would be when you would first consider them. So yes, you could consider and appoint on the 7th under the schedule you described. Right. You could postpone from that point too, of course.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to make any motion. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this.
So the decisions we'll need from the council are, again, basic procedure, but the most important are deadline. When will applications or letters of interest be due? That's really it. Describe how must they apply, letter of interest or otherwise, and when are they due? And then the procedure, if you want to divert from the attorney's recommendation, you may, but I'd encourage that the adoption of that process.
In a recent instance, the applicants were also asked to receive or to obtain signatures as well. Was that?
That was, yeah, and most folks here remember that. That was when Councilor Elm was appointed. That was different than this situation. We had more or less the entire term ahead, and it was an extremely close election. That was a very unique situation, and I don't remember the logic behind that. I remember agreeing with it, but that's the only time we've done something like that. So yes, it's an option.
You have options.
You can be as creative as you want, or simple. Councilor Sweeney?
So if I understand this correctly, we're going to at least what's on the table, request applications, if you would, for city council. We get those, are we going to make a determination from those letters? We're not going to have the people who's ever decided to come before the city council?
So, and I'm sorry to keep doing this too, but it would be your decision. So if you set a date for when applications or letters of interest would be due, all we're going to do is present those to you
Right.
at the following council meeting.
Okay.
From there, again, I would encourage you to use the attorney's process to nominate your favorites from among those letters of interest. So make a motion in a second, very similar to the leadership election from there. It's just your candidates would be the people that applied.
Right. I do think that we should move this along as fast as we can. There's no sense in dragging it on. Let's get this done. So, but if I understand you correctly, then you're saying we should pick a candidate from the letters we received or the applications.
You can set a different process, but
Right. No. But what we're talking about right now, whether we change the process or not, what's on the table, is at least spoken. That's
technically nothing's on the table, but if you're asking my opinion, I think yes, you
Okay.
should ask for people to express their interest.
Oh, no. I get that. I'm saying, are we going to make? Is it on the table whether that term is correct or not? If people send in 5 people send in applications, if that's the term, to become a city council member, the city council will then make a decision from the letters received.
Yes.
No, nothing else. Okay. Thank you.
So I guess I'd like to make a motion to have applicants or those who are applying submit a resume and a letter of intent by December 1st, and then to encourage a 5-minute speech for those who are applying. So that's my motion.
Okay, the motion, everybody hear the motion? Would you like me to repeat it? Is there a second?
I will second that.
Okay, the motion by Councilor Elman, seconded by Councilor Sweeney, is to request resumes and letters of intent from prospective applicants with a deadline of December 1st, presenting those at the December 7th council meeting.
With a 5-minute.
Yeah, to encourage it, not required, but.
I want to clarify a few things, and we'll just, if you agree with this, we'll get it in the minutes. I just want to make sure we understand.
Yeah, that's correct.
Counselor, so we all understand everybody that submits will be allowed to speak 5 minutes?
Yeah, that limitation, yep.
And you agree with that, Counselor Sweeney? Okay. And then after that, they will no longer be speaking, and you will otherwise follow the same process as the leadership. There will be a motion and a second to nominate, followed by elections. If more than 2 people are nominated, the top 2 vote getters will whittle down, basically following the leadership process and the process described in the memo from there.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Okay, does everybody understand the motion? Or the discussion? Counselor Van Sickle.
I agree. This is very technical, but in order for them to receive the stipend and that type of thing, do they need to go to the clerk's office and declare their candidacy to make them like a public official, or how does that work?
I don't think so. They're not a candidate.
I'll have to look into it, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I know once they're appointed, they are a counselor in all the same respects as the rest of you.
So the campaign.
So if they get
statement, I'm
nominated,
sure,
then they
be-
would fill out all that paperwork?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Fennessy?
Is this, so I know we approved the new boundaries, for the new council districts two meetings ago. Is that whole process done, or is there still, does that still need to go to the state or
Which one?
whatever for the new boundaries for the district?
Yeah, so we're done at the local level. We're now just waiting on the state to input the new boundaries into the Wisconsin elections system. And they are anticipating doing that the last week of this month, so that all the data is in there by December 1st when people start circulating their paperwork. And I will get you your addresses as soon as I can.
To clarify, they're approved, just not fully entered.
They're active. I'm meeting tomorrow with John Fisnes. There's some mapping issues, but we're getting them figured out, and the map should be live by Friday.
I guess where I'm going with this, I just want to clarify that if we're going off of the new boundaries, so an applicant or someone who expresses interest has to be in the new.
No,
No,
I would think it would still have the same boundaries. Oh.
So then we would appoint somebody
But-
and.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Good point.
Well, I haven't followed the process as carefully as you have, but
Yeah, they were
if the new districts are approved, then what the state is doing is simply
Getting them in the system,
inputting
yeah.
the new lines.
October,
I
yeah.
would say that that's not as interesting as already having been approved, so therefore, one need to live in the district as it sits after we last visited the redrawn maps to qualify for the appointment.
I agree.
Okay, so we're going off of the new map for those interested in a nomination.
and procedurally, obviously, not everybody will be able to fully confirm whether they live. Have them reach out. We can confirm whether they live in that district or not. The clerk can confirm that. So if they have some doubt, if they live on the border of the old
They can
district, for
call us.
example.
We can check.
One last question, just as in terms of advertising, marketing, or making people aware, what is the process for that? Making a constituent in the new designated area that this even exists, that there's an opening. How are the people going to find that out?
Well, the county actually deals with vacancies pretty frequently, and so I'm inclined to just follow the same advertising procedure they do. We'll post an ad in the paper, and I'm going to count on Councilor Sutherland and the press to share the information as well. But we'll follow their procedure. I think
Okay.
that's fairly effective.
Right.
We've gotten applicants anyway.
Well, at the end of the day, that everybody has somewhat of an equal opportunity. They have some responsibility to do it, but at least there's some method that they can seek out.
The minutes are always published in the paper the Friday after, but yeah, we should do it sooner than that.
Thank you.
The question then is Councilor Elm's motion setting the process. Want to say something?
I just want to be clear, I understand it, because it's important to you that a technical resume, be attached to the letter of interest. And therefore, if a 3-page letter of interest is received by the clerk's office with no resume attached, that should be rejected. But that's important for me to understand, at least. Because typically, when our mayors have invited the public to express an interest in a committee or commission vacancy, we've not asked for a resume per se. We've asked for letters of interest. But if you are insisting on a resume, I just want the room to be clear that resume-less submittals will be rejected. And I don't want to create any firestorms that way.
If you're seeking clarification from me, the past precedent, I'm okay with. So again, we can use the word encourage resume.
Okay.
We have a motion, though.
Okay.
and
We've already
it's
approved.
described. You intended to see a resume. I think the attorney's just getting clarification.
Yep.
And so if there's no resume, you will not see that application. If there's any resume, no matter how amateur or bad, you will see it. If there's some doubt, I'm going to put the question to you, to the council.
Perfect.
Council
So
Benson.
I'll make a motion to amend the motion to have the word recommend a resume. I think that's a super valid point, Attorney Burrell. But I think we need to. None of us fill out a resume when we just got 20 signatures. There's a lot of people that don't have a resume, and I think we need to make this as easy of a process as possible, where it's a pretty short window.
Is there a second? Seconds by Councilor Elm to add the word recommend in relation to the resume. Is there discussion on that amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. The question then is to adopt the whole process. Are there questions about the process? I should explain the whole thing, but it's large. Councilor Ludwig.
I just want to, will we allow comments by the public? let's say that some constituents from the 8th district come, will we allow them to?
Our general procedure is to allow comments on all subjects. Either of you know what the ordinance says?
3
We
minutes.
generally allow it on 3 minutes on any subject before the council.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that also. Okay.
I mean, if your intent is to not allow it, we should clarify that now, but.
No, well,
'cause
my
I think it's
opinion is
allowed.
we should.
Okay. No, Councilor Ledeen.
Are we allowed to ask questions during this 5 minutes, or is this a presentation that they are giving? Do we ask questions? Is it proper to ask questions of them?
Again, I understand us to be adopting this process in the memo. I want to say that very clearly. Following comments by nominees, the meeting will be open to comments by the public, restricted to 1 3-minute period. Following comments by the public, a discussion period will take place to speak to the qualities of the nominees and is not meant to invite debate between councilors and nominees. Therefore, no councilor will be allowed to put questions to a nominee, and no nominee will be allowed to respond to councilors' comments. So the answer is no. You may discuss their merits. You may not have a discussion with them. Okay, do we understand the procedure? Then all those in favor of adopting this, I just want to say one more time, we will be, except for the other things we've added to it, we'll be adopting what is described in the memo that was added to the packet. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries. And thank you, councilors. I know that's been a complicated process, but we don't do this very often. Do we have any further motions or discussion that could conceivably be germane to the subject of Councilor Sutherland's vacancy? If nothing else, of course, we'll see you at the next meeting, Councilor Sutherland, but for me, thank you for your service on our council, and we have no further business and are adjourned.
You can have that. For fun, I did that. So if there was a special